persistence and perseverance is apparently the theme of this message. Persistence and perseverance. Okay, well, let's talk about what those mean. Perseverance is the act of continuing forward even in the face of resistance. Continuing forward even in the face of resistance. This can be a confusing message, especially if you are of the kind who has devoted themselves to self-learning, to inner work. You sort of learn two sides of the coin. You learn that resistance on one hand is something to be pushed through, is something to see and accept and work through, regardless of its existence. And then you have the other side of the coin that talks about resistance being a sign that you're not on the right path. They exist in the same realm. These two things are one and the same. It's just coming at the same issue from two different perspectives. But it's really the same thing at the end of the day. I naturally tend to be of the camp of this pushing through resistance, seeing it, gritting my teeth, fighting through it, regardless of how difficult it is. But the thing is, when I do this, I find myself feeling very exhausted, very tired, very depleted, without much fulfillment, sort of emptying out my tank to battle these things and fight against these things, but never quite feeling like I remember why I'm doing it in the first place sometimes. And this is what I see a lot of the world in right now as well. This mentality that there must be a fight. There must be a push. There must be a resistance against something. It's not that pushing against something doesn't produce certain results that can be deemed as beneficial. It's just that it's an endless cycle. Because to push against something is to force one's will on something that does not want will exerted upon it. And this strengthens us when done to a degree. But when that's all there is, we lose the point. It becomes fighting just to fight, strengthening ourselves just to get stronger, just to get buffer, just to get built up. But for what purpose? You might find that if you look at the reason, it's based on insecurity. It's not based on creativity. These are the two sides of the coin. We do things either for one of two reasons. It's either for insecurity, aka fear, greed, lust for power, etc. Or we do it out of creativity, which is love, joy, peace, camaraderie, connection, So now coming back to the other side of the coin, if you're feeling resistance, then you're not in the right place. This isn't about if you're feeling resistance in your external reality, you're in the wrong place. There's always going to be resistance around you. We live in a realm of limitation and resistance. Resistance is how we have the physical world. Resistance is how everything exists and how we have human experience. The push and the pull, all the forces of nature, physics itself, the laws of physics. It's about resistance within, internal resistance, that saying. If you're feeling internal resistance, if you're battling yourself, you always have control over that. And you'll notice that the minute you're able to resolve resistance within yourself, usually the outer resistance that you are focused on also resolves itself. So, again, this theme really wants to come out. It's about coming back within, focusing on where do I feel that resistance within myself? Why am I fighting? What am I fighting? What mentality and perspective do I have about myself and about life that causes me to keep fighting and keep facing resistance around me? And is that really necessary? No, it's not. You can live a life that feels internally like it is almost devoid of resistance. And like I said, it still exists in the world. It's just that you yourself do not face it the same way that the person who is not aware of it faces it. You face it with a grace, with an ease. You face it with an understanding that the moment you come upon it, if you can take it, learn from it, and let yourself be like water. Let yourself allow what truly wants to come from within. Usually, it takes care of itself. So, they are two sides of the same coin. One perspective is giving advice about outer resistance, another perspective is giving advice about inner resistance. But they are the same thing. You can't control outer resistance directly. Hence why you must accept it for what it is. But you can control inner resistance. You can take inner resistance and you can do something about it. And then, very interestingly, because of that, the whole thing just becomes flow. Is there anything else? That's it. I hope this helped. I love you very much.